get to know and be corrected and become even better. Never let anything snatch you out of his hand, because he's faithful to keep you in his hand. For he said it in John chapter 10. Those whom my Father has given in my hand, none shall snatch them out. But I stayed those few days meditating upon what the Lord has shown me. But now before that, I was busy with the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1, concerning his word into the mouth of the prophet. But now, after that, he showed me drunkenness. And I couldn't understand how does that connect. And one kept on thinking, meditating, staying in deep thoughts concerning what the Lord has revealed. One remained in deep thinking, asking questions. What is this, Lord? What does it mean? Therefore, it concerned his body. I kept on asking myself, how does this connect? But now, why did you go to the book of Jeremiah? Never fear, speak. Never fear, say it. Speak. Wherever there is drunkenness, I'm able to reach those places as one speaks. For the Apostle Paul says, how can they believe if one does not preach? And faith cometh by hearing the word. So the word has to be spoken for one to begin to have faith. Listen to this. And this was the reading. Do not be afraid of them, from verse 8, Jeremiah 1. Do not be afraid of them. Do not be afraid of them or their hostile faces. Do not be afraid of them or their hostile faces. Do not be afraid of them or their hostile faces. And you'll understand why the Lord took me there. Because now I read this, I meditated, and I began to see this clearly. But after that, my mind was taken away from the book of Jeremiah chapter 1. Because one stood meditating. Do not be afraid of them or their hostile faces, for I am with you always to protect you and to deliver you, says the Lord. Then the Lord stretched out his hand and touched my mouth, and the Lord said to me, behold, hear me. I've put my words in your mouth. I've put my words in your mouth. See, I have appointed you this day over the nations and over the kingdoms to uproot and break down, to destroy and to overthrow, to build and to plant. And that's how the word goes on from verse 11. But now do not be afraid of them or their hostile faces. And now meditating upon this, and here came that whole picture. And I began to see myself walking into a place, and I began to look on my left. When I looked, there was a counter there. But when I take a closer look, but it's a bar here. And I began to see the faces of those who were selling in the bar. Those who mix wicks, who mix gin, who mix alcohol for people to have pleasure. Then I took a closer look unto them, and everybody who sits, on those bar seats. They were sitting on those bar seats, drinking. But I expected, this is a bar, and at the same time I see a big yard, not looking good. Cars that don't move, that have been there, can't be fixed. The yard was not looking good. And I saw on this bar, and people were going there one by one on this bar. On that bar, when they came on that bar, closer, all of a sudden I could hear closer. And when I look at their faces, those who were mixing and selling alcohol, the faces of preachers, people who preach the word. And now that's when it took me back. Do not be afraid, speak. Do not be afraid of all their hostile faces. Now my focus was taken to their faces. And as I looked unto their faces, I could see different nations. Priests, prophets representing different nations. Black, white, different colors. Yet being priests, being prophets. And when I came there, God showed me that this is the table where they minister to people. They minister to my people. Then my focus was on their faces. What is happening now? And all of a sudden, this one stood up because I tried to walk around the yard. Because there, where they were ministering on the counter there, on the bar table, whatever they were being offered, whatever they were offering, what they were offering to people, it's what they were speaking. Hence the Lord said, behold, hear me, I've put words in your mouth. So there on the bar table, they were feeding people with mixed drinks. So many were in high spirits together with them. And I realized, this is where they minister to them. That's where they give them what comes from that bar table.